So last week's Torah portion was Parshat Balak, and the Cohen. There's lots of Cohens out there, but the Cohen, his last name actually isn't Cohen, but with a K, Cohenim or something. It's a hierarchy that exists in the tribe of apple Jews and grape Jews and like pineapple Jews and things of that nature or something. And anyways, Parshat Balak, I was like, look, colorblind is like, it's not a color. Yeah, but if you say it like 3 times fast, it sounds like a color. It's like, it's not a color. Number one, if it was to be a quote-unquote color, technically the definition of Balak is that it's the absence of light. But that's not what it's referring to. It's referring to something else. It's referring to a character or an entity, one could say, in the Hebrew, in the Old Testament, or whatever the heck you want to call it, in Torah commentary. In other words, so this guy named Balak, he basically controlled the world economy and the outcome of events, but he needed his best buddy Balaam to get the approval. It's like, you can't have one without the other. It's like, if you want to launch a nuclear bomb, you got to have, like, not only you have the nuclear codes, but you have to have, there's a couple of things that go into it. Anyways, it's like that with Torah commentary and things like that, and the quote-unquote evil characters or whatever. Balaam's level of prophecy, so the story goes, was actually outranked Moshe Rabbeinu's. And he was actually a Gentile. He wasn't a Jew. So it's interesting that how the design of the universe, the creator of the universe, gave the authority of the interpretation of the law to a small tribe, the smallest on planet Earth, constantly almost going to extinct and so on and so forth. It gave the interpretation of one could say the interwoven fabric of the universe to this tiny little tribe. So the story goes. However, it gave revelation and certain levels of prophecy to the Gentiles. And their number one guy, their number one person, his name was Balak and Balaam. And in a similar way, different Jews fulfill different roles depending on their levels of observance. It's the same thing with the Gentiles. It's like, one day you're the star basketball player, and the next day the number two guy is like I had a better day and made more 3-point shots or something like that. It's just to explain a little bit differently. So levels of observance wax and wane and on that. Nevertheless, Balak and Balaam essentially are attributed to not only potentially greater levels of prophecy, but also controlling a certain number of events that happen in the world economies. Now, these are, some could say superstitious stories. Some say, some people it's just their entire life. Some people it's like, okay, what does these things have to teach us about, what to do next, what not to do, things of that sort. So anyways, that was last week's Torah portion. Wasn't much to be said. But except, how much weight did Balak have when Balaam was around? I was like, well, look, they were kind of like partners. They weren't going, they just had different roles, Well, anyways, and technically Moshe Rabbeinu ultimately wins the contest of prophecy, so they think, but Balaam and Balak, they think they're going to win. You see what I mean? So it's like, and then what's the definition of winning and what's the definition of losing, on and ad infinitum. Anyways, until next time, over and out.